judgmental fitness professional. Okay, I am a very wide, open-minded person, a human beyond just the terms and the terms around the fitness world. And the reason I thought that this would be a really good engagement session is because I do get a lot of questions from people around diet and what to eat. We are sitting at home. We just can't control ourselves and whatnot. I'm sure most of you guys also have those same questions. And to an extent, it is something that is of great importance. Yep. So as Priya mentioned, my name is Vinita. I have been in the fitness world, in the fitness industry for a little more than 10 years. Other than that, I have been into sports and different kind of extracurricular activities since childhood. So fitness is pretty much in my blood, and it is pretty much therapy for me rather than just indulging into activities. Yep. And I have attained my degree in personal training courses and extended my knowledge within the fitness world just a few years back. And I also participated in IFBB, that is International Federation of Bodybuilding for Women's Figure, last year in 2020. And I scored I couldn't score a gold, but I did score a bronze. And it was a moment of great pride for me, which I was able to share with a lot of my friends and families. And through that, I got to know, and because of that, in fact, I had extreme calorie restricted diets, different forms of diets that I had also implemented on myself. So whatever I tell you now is through my research and also through my own experience. Yeah. Whatever we will be discussing today. All right. I did draw a lot of inspiration from a lot of researchers because I try to base my opinions and whatever recommendations I provide to people based on evidence. So I try to gather a lot of information for this webinar through the researches that I've been through a lot of webinars also that I have attended, and just in general videos which bring more insight into the dieting world. All right, so I'll just share my screen. So during the session, guys, just a quick heads up, if you guys have any questions, you can put in the chat box. I'd really appreciate if you can keep yourselves on mute so that we are not distracted, or and also at the same time, I will try to keep getting back to the chat option and answering as many questions. That said, we will be having a Q&A round at the end of the session as well. All right. Meanwhile, during the session, please feel free to move around as well, because I really don't want you guys to stick to one place, restricting movement, and drink lots of water as well. All right. So we start with. I hope you guys are able to view my screen. You can give me a thumbs up if you can. Okay, I see Gaurav is the only person who has this video on. So Gaurav, I will be focusing on your gestures. Okay, cool. So diets are failing is something that a lot of people within the fitness industry is talking about. All right. So during the session, we will be talking about specifically why diets don't work, and what are the small things we could do instead. I'm not going to be going to the nitty-gritties of it because it will be 1.5 hour session is too short to cover all the real aspects of dieting. But if in the future, after we are done with this webinar, if you would want me to cover certain topics, I would be more than obliged to do that. All right. So today we will be mostly touching finer elements of why diets don't work. All right. So I do have a few things to talk about though. First, I need you to get your mindset on one level, all of you guys. All right. On one level, I want you guys to all bring your awareness to one fact. If you can't see yourself sticking to your diet 1 year from now, whatever you're eating, if you can't see yourself sticking to that diet 1 year from now, you need to rethink on your strategy. Okay. If you don't like the way you eat, but you're eating because of a certain goal, or because it's supposed to be eaten like that, or you need to have a certain lifestyle, you won't really stick to it for long. Okay. And it'll only be a matter of time before you jump ship and end up regaining all that weight. Now, please let that thought sink in, and we will now discuss what all weight loss is all about. All right. Now, the weight loss industry earns in billions. Okay. While their focus is still on the old school diets aiming towards dropping body weight faster with calorie restriction. I hope everybody is aware of what calories are. Calorie is the unit of measuring your energy. Okay. Whatever food we intake, all are made of calories. Whatever food we eat gives us energy. Right. So when we restrict our calories intake, we lose weight. Okay. So there are also new languages around dietary products like detox diet or cleanse diet, or new dietary supplements that come in the industry, talking about how you need certain vitamins, and you can only receive it, or your body can only absorb it from those supplements for maybe muscle gain or maybe fat loss and whatnot. And because there's so much of this, general population like you and me, we get confused on what actually works, right? Well, in my experience, all of those easy way outs, whatever comes easy always has a consequence and a price to pay, and it does not stay. Do you agree with me? If you do, just give me a thumbs up. I'm talking about just general in life. I'm not just talking about diet. Yep. So also with all the diets that you come across as suggested options for potential weight loss, I'd like you guys to float some answers, some on the chat box, as what are the few things you've been told about weight loss? Like, what are the few measures you should be taking for weight loss? You should be doing A, you should be doing B, and you lose fat and you'll gain muscle. And this is the way you should be eating, and that is what you should be avoiding. How many of you guys get these claims? I, for a matter, get a lot of them. And only after my threshold, after I reached my threshold, I had to decide that, okay, I need to learn now. I need to educate myself. Carbs are not good. Absolutely. I think a lot of us said that, carbs are not good at all. We should be going complete. Carbs are literally badnaam, right? Carbs are something you should stay away from. Go for protein all the time. You have to increase only your protein all the time. Well, you do know, right, that excess of protein can also be converted into fat. All right. Exclude dairy to lose fat. Absolutely. Dairy, so many people are, even people who are not lactose intolerant, do not have dairy because they are told that you can lose fat if you don't have dairy. So dairy products do have fat and protein, right? Dairy products have a high amount of calcium. Calcium is for your bones. So if a person is not lactose intolerant, why would you just want to get away from it? And people, the worst part is people don't ask why, right? And I'm sure there are many more aspects to all of these things coming in. Yeah. Okay, stop sharing my screen one sec. So guys, before I move ahead, let me tell you, most of the information on this webinar, it has been compiled from various researchers, mostly curated by Tracy Mann, who is a PhD in psychology in the University of Minnesota. And most of the research papers I've gone through are from her, and that's why I've curated this information. All right. So anything that you really find a little complex to understand, you can drop your questions on the chat box immediately, and I can try answering them. So firstly, tell me, why should you care about losing fat? I'm hoping you are able to view my screen. Okay. So why should you care about losing fat? What do you think? Yeah, remove oil from diet is also one of them. Absolutely. So the basic answers which I can think of, okay, uh, let's say, not only have we been around long enough to have diets marketed to us, but we've also been around long enough to know that the world is getting a bit heftier, don't you think? Like every second person you see, especially after COVID, they were possibly a little leaner than what they are now when you start engaging with them in person. And you know the implications of this added heft could be vital. Right? Let's accept we all love food. Right? We all love food and there's no harm associated. However, what we don't focus on much is how much to eat of what we eat. Yep. We listen to our brains while eating, not our stomachs. Do you agree? The stomach is actually about the size of your fist. The size of your fist. Of course, it can be expanded quite a bit. And when it comes to losing fat, there are a lot of things that we are asked to do, recommended to do. Some of them are, like you said, eating low carbs, eating low fat, go vegan, go vegetarian, eat no more than 1,200 calories in a day. Intermittent fasting, paleo diet, GM diet, Atkins diet, keto diet, etc. You won't believe there are even diets called the drinking man's diet, where alcohol is actually dominant. Okay, and then there is this diet with, of course, meat. Uh, there are diets which are specific to specific kinds of exercises and whatnot. All of these things together, in general, tell us how badly we can go wrong with those methods. So there are some humans who should be eating 1,200 calories a day. Okay, there might also be some people who really like their potatoes. Yeah, they like their potatoes. They could go on a low-fat diet. But is it right to make blanket statements on what everyone should do? No, right? So when you hear the word diet, what do you think of? I think I asked this question before as well. When you think of diet, what do you think of? Obesity is the major cause of diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol. Absolutely. So the first thing which comes to my head when I think of diet is greens, which is actually an important part of diet. Yeah. Others might think of, when you talk about a diet, it can conjure up many feelings, some of which are positive, others may not be as positive. Usually you might think of beginnings, endings, how you want to see yourself, low carb diet, calories and macros, low fat, clean versions of food, overall weight loss. And also, let's not forget the fact that diet itself has the word die in it. Yeah. So there's that. All right. So when we're trying to make an honest attempt to stick within a healthy range of body fat, because there are many benefits to weight loss, that brings us to why we should care about losing fat. Number one, increase longevity. We all want to live a healthy, sustainable, long life, right? Enjoy every part of our life, every phase of our life, from childhood to our teens, to our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, 50s, retirement. When we are thinking about longevity, those, you can't be always like, we'll live one day at a time. So let's eat everything that we have and forget about tomorrow. I mean, there are people like that as well, but increased longevity is one of the important reasons why you should care about losing fat. Second is decreased risk of cardiovascular diseases. Studies show, and in every country possible, you can go and look it up, the major contributor towards your cardiovascular diseases, your heart diseases, are because of overweight, obesity. Yep. And a lot of other ailments are also connected with it, like how you guys mentioned, diabetes, hypertension, and whatnot. So with ailments, you can't be healthy, right? Decreased risk of cancer. While yes, cancer is something which might happen to a very healthy person as well, or a person who is not fat, but developing cancer can also be due to a lot of other factors relating to fat gain or obesity. Risk of type 2 diabetes. Quality of life is more important. Long life is very relative term. You can't control your death, but can live a quality of adopting good habits. Very well said, Vimal. I absolutely agree with that. Because when we are healthy and happy, that's when we know how to live well. We need happiness and peace during our living days, right? So again, yeah, back to risk of type 2 diabetes. Diabetes itself is something that can be described best by a person who actually has it. You know, it might just feel like, अरे क्या होगा यार, diabetes है, थोड़ा sugar पे control करना पड़ेगा. But no, it's not just sugar. It's just not about insulin. It is more than that. It is a lot of unhealthiness, a lot of stress, a lot of negativity. It affects you psychologically, not being able to eat your favorite things, move around, a lot of things that restrict openness, a lot of things that restrict what you want to do. Yeah. Improved quality of life. And yes, let's not forget, you will look sexy. Don't you guys in this social media world want to flaunt your amazing, handsome, beautiful bodies? And I'm not saying it in a very retrospective manner, okay? I am saying it or a very judgmental manner or trying to fat shame someone. I'm trying to tell you because looking good has a psychological impact on your confidence. It has a psychological impact on your behavior. If you're just generally a person who's grumpy because you don't like yourself, you don't like the fat, you feel uncomfortable, and suddenly because of some kind of activity which has changed your life and you've been able to shed off those extra pounds, suddenly you feel all confident. Everybody's talking about you on social media. Those things release hormones of happiness. Yep. So of course I won't get into the social media part of it, but yeah, looking really good is one of the major factors why most people want to lose fat these days. Kisi ka shaadi mein jana hai, I want to fit into that my gown, I want to look really good in the pictures, I want to pick up chicks at the wedding, whatever. Yep. Or all of these things make us human. Okay, so it's good, it's okay. Well, I would like to point out though that these benefits can be achieved. Regardless of the type of diet you implement. Simply losing body fat and weight overall has a huge impact on all of these outcomes, regardless of the type of diet you use, I repeat. Indeed, high carbohydrate, low fat diets that produce weight loss can also include health benefits. Yep. And similarly, low carbohydrate, high fat diets can also show similar health effects, health benefits. More moderate diets, vegan diet, everything works, but not for everyone. Okay. So the big question, do diets work? So as most diplomatic answers that I can give, it depends. In the short run, It absolutely does. It has done on, I have experienced it myself. I have had diets which make me feel like an animal sometimes, like a domestic animal, of course, chewing on green grass, and also made me feel like I'm out of control. I don't know what to do. I can't just stay away from food, and lots of other feelings that boil up then. So yeah, it does initially. You can lose up to 10%, which is not very much of your body weight. And most people aim to lose more than that. They aim to lose more than that, but they end up losing 10 to 15% of their body weight. And this can happen in the first year itself. But what is most important, what's more important is what happens in the long run. And it's absolutely clear, my friends, that in the long run, dieting does not work for majority. When I'm talking about dieting, let me bring this to your notice again. Diet is the sum amount of foods that you intake for your healthy living. Any kind of food, that is diet. Dieting, I will be referring to as the method of restricting calories for weight loss. Okay, so dieting does not work in the long run. So labs have conducted researches on dieters for at least 2 years from when they started dieting. So in researches, what happens is they take a certain amount of people to prove a certain theory. Okay, so for dieters who have been dieting, labs have conducted researches on them to check for 2 years after they started, since they started. And when all the numbers were curated and crunched in together, it showed that dieters regained all but 2 pounds in the first 3 to 5 years. That basically means that the dieters have regained all of their weight back in 3 to 4 years. Okay, so while you'll be losing in the first year, you need to be damn sure that it is going to all come back. Okay, only 5% of dieters, and I've mentioned this on if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen it on my stories. I have mentioned this as well. 5% of dieters only can maintain their diet in a way that is sustainable, and they can stay in shape year long. 95% can't keep it off. And you know what? Diet companies know this. Diet companies are aware of this. So, in fact, there are articles which talk about arguments, some of which, a little brief of which you can see on the slide right now. People have had arguments to put accurate information about the effectiveness of diets in their ads. So the companies, the diet companies have stated, quoted, dieters will be discouraged if they are provided with realistic outcome data. If you tell a dieter that bhai tumhara 3-4 saal mein wapas aane wala hai tumhara ye sab weight, you think they're going to be pushing themselves to that extra level? No, that is how we are equipped. That is how we human beings are programmed, right? So nothing of that sort is going to happen. So then the CFO of Weight Watchers, Weight Watchers is a huge old, since 1960s, they've been there. They're a US-based fitness organization providing comprehensive fitness and nutrition options, programs for people. The CFO of Weight Watchers have quoted that dieting is like playing the lottery. Failed dieters, that's where the business comes from. So if you think that people are marketing, swearing to their lords and marketing things, it's not true. Yeah. So things that influence obesity. Now, the reason why I'm covering these points, guys, is because you need to know where it starts from. What are the basic stuff, absolute basic things that we have myths in our heads about? So there were studies done for this too. Okay, so now it's obvious that what people think, that a person who is fat or obese is because they eat too much, or a person who is thin is because they don't eat at all. This is our general understanding, right? This is our general understanding that anybody who eats a lot will be fat, and anybody who doesn't eat is obviously thin. But I'm sure, and if you agree with me, you will have to give a thumbs up. I am sure you have seen some really obese people who really don't eat that much, and some real thin people. Oh, this one really breaks my head. Some thin people can pelt plates of biryani and still say yes to a tub of sundae and really not put on even a pound of fat. Does this not break your head? Do you guys not think that how the hell is this possible? How can God be so unfair? Agreed. So frustrating. Absolutely, it is frustrating. So till the time I was not aware of all this, uh, there was a significant period of time where even I would break my head that how is it that these guys are eating and they don't put on anything, and I just had one choco bar and I feel bloated and I feel like I've already put on 10 kgs, right? So there were studies done for this too. Turns out when obesity researchers were faced with these kind of evidences, they concluded that it is true. It's not just your just the food that you eat. So there are so many factors affecting obesity. It's not just the same song we keep singing of. You need to exercise exercise off more calories than you eat. That is the whole calories in and calories out process, which is absolutely true as well. The calories in and calories out balance is what triggers weight loss, but that is not the only thing. Because then no matter how much a person eats calories, a person who is thin is not really expending that much, but not putting on as well. Yeah, if that were true, we wouldn't have had all those lucky thin people who eat all that they want and don't get fat, or vice versa. But we do have those people, because your weight is influenced by so many more things other than just calories in or calories out. In fact, in one academic meeting during a study, there was this diagram that was put up for all the factors influencing obesity. You have to check this out. This is going to blow your mind away. I am sure it blew your mind away. So yes, these are the number of things that affect obesity. And in fact, they did put up another graph as well when asked to simplify things, which is not so simplified, of course. I will not be expecting all of you guys to know everything that's on this screen right now. But yeah, all you need to know is everything that you see over here on this screen are the simple factors that affect obesity, and they all are related to one thing. Do you guys know what you mean by genetics? So genetics, of course, are the compounds of your cells, your nature of your cells, your origination of your cells, all of these things that happen over your hereditary line, right? And they, of course, they are different for DNA, probably, yes, of course. So genes are genes which are there. Okay, you have your mother's genes or your father's genes or your immediate families, basically. So genetics, whatever the genes are carried down line of your ancestors. So genetics is what really makes a lot of difference. Okay, so I'll show you another graph. This graph shows you the number of genes found each year that influence the susceptibility to obesity. Okay, genes susceptibility. So the numbers exploded in the past 20 years. Okay, from the time the studies have been happening, and I'm sure that scientists are still doing more and more research on this, and they are getting more and more factors. Okay, so there are a bunch of things that will affect obesity, and I will tell you just a few ways, those few common factors that you can relate with. Okay, number one, hormones. Okay, before I just start, I'm just going to take 30 seconds to just move and come back. You guys can do the same thing. Okay, I really don't like sitting in one place or asking people to sit in one place either. So we can have a quick water round. Guys, I hope all of you are on the same video as me. Perfecto. All right. So we start with hormones. I'm sure these terms are very familiar to you guys. I'm sure you'll know vividly what they mean and how they are generated in our bodies and what important role they play. So now studies have shown that after years of losing and maintaining weight, hormones play a very, very important role. So what I will be doing is taking you through 3 hormones, okay, just 3, which will really make you understand the basics of, give you answers to the basic questions that you have relating to यार मैं तो खाना ही नहीं खाती हूँ, मेरा पेट इतना बड़ा क्यों है, मैं तो खाना ही नहीं खाती हूँ, मेरा फैट लॉस क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, या फिर I eat so much, why am I not gaining weight, or why I just don't have self control. These are the things you will now start making sense out of. So number 1, so there are lots of hormones, okay, a lot of hormones which can contribute towards weight loss, weight gain, but the most important ones which are related to food and your diet are the ones we'll be discussing today. Okay, so number 1 is leptin. Leptin is a hormone that is released by our fat cells. High levels of leptin, that is, so fat cells are our adipose tissue, the fat stores. High levels of leptin signaled to the brain gives us the feeling of satisfaction. The moment when you say that, oh, I've just eaten this and now I really feel good. This is good stuff. I feel like I've accomplished everything I need for the day and I can have a mighty sleep now. So that feel good factor after eating your favorite foods, your favorite desserts, is satisfaction. And that is generated through leptin. Studies have proven that when you go on a diet, that is calorie restriction, again, your leptin levels get significantly reduced. Restricting yourself from eating a certain amount of food and will cause leptin levels to drop. Okay, everybody clear with this part? Is this difficult to understand? Yes, no, maybe? Okay, it's cool. All right, fine. Thank you, Gaurav, for the heads up. All right. So this is the first part, that is leptin. Second is ghrelin. Ghrelin is another hormone. Again, this is ghrelin is secreted from your stomach. Okay, and when ghrelin is secreted, it shows you, it stimulates appetite. Okay, when you feel hungry, when you feel like, I'm really hungry and I want to eat maybe a big, huge family-sized pizza. So ghrelin is released that time. So ghrelin, when you're on a calorie restricted diet, ghrelin increases. Ghrelin levels increase. So we get hungrier. So it's pretty much like leptin reduces and you feel less satisfied. At the same time, it's not at different timings of the day, it is at the same time. So imagine the amount of psychological impact. Okay, so at the same time, your ghrelin is increasing and you have a higher appetite. So it's almost like you're hungry and you're hungry and you're hungry, and the little food that you're eating also doesn't satisfy you. So it totally makes you feel horrible. It makes you feel like you can't concentrate on anything, you can't focus, all you can think about is food. And you try to push yourself thinking about those goals and everything, but trust me guys, it is not easy because you are human, right? So these are the first two hormones. The third hormone which I want to discuss about is cortisol, which is called the stress hormone. Now, because whatever was happening in the last slide with leptin and ghrelin happening, your body does go through a lot of stress. Okay, you are putting, and you are also working out and all that stuff, right? So there is a lot of physical and mental and psychological stress that you're going through. So studies have shown that when people go on a very strict calorie restricted diet, that increases the level of cortisol. Now, once you regain a certain weight, and let's say you're done with your calorie restriction and you're done with your photo shoot or something for which you were trying to lose weight, when you regain the weight, because you will start eating again, of course, right? You're not going to be on, like I said, you can't be on a very strict calorie restriction diet all the time. So when you start regaining that weight, you will still be, studies show that you will, people who do that, they are still more sensitive to the stress hormone. So although you're getting your weight back, it doesn't mean that it's going to be again going back to normal. Your stress hormone is all happy now and you're not all satisfied now all of a sudden. No, that's not going to happen. You will still be more sensitive to cortisol, and more sensitive to cortisol than the people who have never dieted before. So you will see a person who is, let's say, mediocre, not really lean or not very fat, is just happier than you, who has achieved a goal and been very slim and has pictures and all on the internet. So this happens more on a psychological aspect. People start facing weird cravings and people start binging for that psychological reward that, I'm now fine, now I'm okay. And guys, again, I'm telling you this from personal experience. I have faced this. Yep. I have faced those moments of absolute disregard for myself, for my identity, just because I didn't have food to eat, just because I couldn't eat the kind of foods I really wanted to eat. You must have heard this from a lot of people as well, that when I would feel very depressed, I'd often get a bite to eat of something I love, and that would make me feel better. I'm sure most of you guys feel that way as well, right? That you just go and eat something, there's nothing happening. There's nothing wrong happening in your life. The world is not falling apart. You're just having this feeling कि मैं ये this packet of chips if I have, or maybe this ramen that I can have, will just make me feel the best in the world. I'll feel accomplished and I'll feel fine. This is the story of all our life, all of our lives. Yep. Second thing that we want to talk about, something on the chat box. Yes, absolutely. By the way, Syed, my name is not ma'am, my name is Vinita. Okay, so yeah, these three hormones play a huge role, and majorly because now we have work from home, And during this work from home, we don't really know what to do. We just keep eating and sitting and working and eating and sitting and binge watching Netflix and whatnot. Everything is happening within that couch. So all that can make you feel good about it is whatever comes to your couch. That can't be dumbbells, I'm sure. That would be food, a plate of food, because Swiggy delivers. Right? So yeah, these are the three hormones which you really need to pay attention to. If your body is telling you that you're hungry, eat. If your body is saying, feeling stressed, attend to the stress, try to resolve it rather than thinking that, you know, a huge bowl of biryani will be the solution to it. Second thing is metabolism. I'm sure you guys might have heard this word as well. It is also genetically based, just like our hormones. Even metabolism is genetically based, and metabolism is pretty much the rate at which your body burns calories, and of whatever you intake, the calories that you intake, how much of it is burnt by your body. Okay, so that's metabolism. Guys, once more, I'm just stopping to ask if everybody is following what I'm saying. If there's any questions related to any complexity of the content, I'd be more than happy to simplify it. All good? Okay, cool, perfect. So some people, so you must have seen this, some people will, so as I said, that the thin people keep eating and they don't get fat, and the fat people don't eat and they stay fat. So some people, the actual reasoning behind it is some people will burn off more calories from a donut, for example, than other people while just sitting still. Okay, it's not that the person is not he's programmed in a way that nothing affects him, or he's some Terminator. No, it's just that his metabolism carried out by his genes genetically in his body is easier, is helping him burn more calories than a person who's, let's say, not genetically blessed that way. And I know it sounds unfair, but and I really don't have a better answer for you guys, but it is genetics. So if you are a person who is who belongs to the group that eats a lot and doesn't get fat, you're just lucky. Okay, and if you are a person who doesn't eat much and still is unable to lose fat, of course, while it is, I'm only considering factors outside the exercising option. So then you must take extra efforts. You can put people on same diet and different things will happen to all. You cannot, if Shah Rukh Khan is losing weight through this diet, you are not going to lose it. If Deepika Padukone has got this diet which has made her super sexy in some movie, even if you pay $50,000 for that, it will not get you the same results. And I have a study to prove that. So a study was conducted on 29 people who were put on a very low calorie diet for 10 weeks. Each of them showed very different results, and these are the results. Weight change from the same diet, different people, exactly same diet. So what researchers do is, if just to ensure that these guys don't go out and eat more, or they don't lie about their food, they give them a facility. All of these people during their research are within a facility where people are constantly monitoring their diet. Okay, so weight change from the same diet, you have it on the screen. Every participant, if you can see, some of them have even has increased their weight. Some of them have drastically dropped, some of them have increased at the end of the 12 weeks. Now, one more study, weight change from same overeating. So this is a diet research nobody would want to be a part of. So people were the same. There were a lot of people. The same lot of people were once they got back to normal dieting, they were now again put into a facility for 3 months. 12 weeks or something. And during these 12 weeks, they were every single day, they were given 1000 calories more than what they needed. Every single person, 1000 calories more, and they were not allowed to exercise as well. Okay, so that was the diet, that was the research. And still, if you see, the results are different. Some people have gained drastically, while the people here have not gained anything, barely anything. Same, another research, weight change from same exercise. So all of these guys were again given the exact same exercises. Now I know it looks a little crumbled up over here with all the bars, but if you see, the point that you need to make out of this slide is that it is not the same. It is all varied. All of these all of the results in all these people is different, right? So that's the whole play of metabolism. The genetic differences that happen play a very vital, significant psychological impact. It does not, the things that should come to your mind when you are eating foods: how fast do you burn it off? Pay attention. How hungry are you after you eat it? How tempting is that food? Some people are like, and you can't blame it. So some people who say that I have a lot of self-control and I'm not eating a donut, but really they don't like donuts. So that is not self-control. Okay, you have to identify your favorite foods and try to control it. So nahi ho sakta hai waisa. There are lots of, actually we have less time for the studies, for me to show you the studies, but there have been some excellent researches to prove theories. If you are tempted and you say no, that is self-control, of course, but when you get that food afterwards, you will eat double of it. Psychological impact. Okay, how much do you think about that food? I mean, I can think of sometimes, the same thing happens with alcohol as well, my friends, by the way. The fourth macronutrient, alcohol. So that also has a similar effect. Okay, and that also has calories, and it drains a lot of your vitamins and minerals. So it does make a lot of difference. Some people really want to drink on a Saturday night, like kuch nahi hai, koi occasion nahi hai, just pina hai, because it's a weekend. And when they are said no, that's the time they feel like drinking all the more. They will go to heights to get. And I'm taking this example because I've been around friends like that. I have also had a college life, and I have been in amongst those people. I have been one of those people as well. So food also is the same thing. The moment somebody says it and you imagine it, your brain processes it in a way that it almost sends you signals of the amount of satisfaction that you can get by eating that food. So all of those things happening together in your head, you now want it even more badly. Lastly, how rewarding is it? Are you feeling really satisfied? The psychological reward that you get. All of these things are influenced through your genes. Okay. Same thing now. After dieting, what happens? You take longer to burn off calories, takes longer to burn off calories. You're still hungry after you eat the food. It gets more tempting for you. You can't stop thinking about it. And it is all the more rewarding that you want it more and more and more and more. And that affects your life. I'll tell you, I'll give you I'll tell you of this episode which I had in office while I was during my first 6 months of my contest prep, year before last. And I had just started off. So I was doing a prep for a prep kind of, because I suddenly went extreme on the diet. So I first wanted to see how my body reacts and how I feel. So it wasn't really my prep start per se, but I was doing a trial. And in 1 week, I had tested myself to the degree of insanity. I would just go on for any food. Ideally, I'm not a person who really likes junk. Okay, I'm just blessed that way, thank God. But I don't like junk. But during that prep time, during that trial period, I was craving for things like vada pav. I was craving for things like garlic bread. I was craving for things like pizza. I literally have one pizza a year because I'm not really very fond of it. But maybe some people coming over, guests and all, and we order, and I end up having some. But I'm not really, if you ask me that, Vinita, what's your poison? It's definitely not pizza. Okay. I was craving for those things because it just looks, feels like I would feel satisfied. And that's what happens when you do an extreme calorie deficit. So what do you do? So what should you do? What can we do? This is the strategy. Now, I'm not really an expert on this, and I can definitely bank on the fact that what worked for me will never work for you. But keeping in mind the general population, I think I can emphasize on the fact that there are small little things which anybody can do with some amount of understanding and some amount of I can say dedication, some amount of reasoning. First thing, the thing that really I could sum up to is you need to identify and stay focused on maintaining the leanest livable weight. Now, this leanest livable weight is something which is on the low end of your set weight range. I'm sure most of us, now I know most of you must be thinking, how do I identify the set weight range? Most of the people who I have spoken with, and for myself as well, we just know that we want to be this weight. Now, I know a person who's 100 kg wants to be 50 kgs. But again, that has phases, right? So ideally, you have to set this goal. Now, this goal can be based on things which does not require a crash diet or an easy weight loss technique or a certain fat diet, like your intermittent fasting or and intermittent fasting also has its benefits, as I said, like all other diets. But let's face it, guys, it's if it's not sustainable, it's not worth it, is what I feel. Okay. Crash diets and GM diet and keto diet and whatnot. Lowest weight, the maintenance of your lowest weight possible without setting off all the biological changes that we just discussed. You have to pay attention to those things. Okay. So the two things that you can keep in mind is, if you are able to find your leanest livable weight and stick to it, it will be easier than a restrictive diet. And it will be healthier than giving up. Does that make sense? So when we're talking about easier than a restrictive diet, that means you don't have to literally look at food and say no. Look at food and don't attend parties where there are foods, or don't talk to people who are opening their tiffin box. That will be your restrictive diet. And because you want to just look good for the heck of it, keep constantly torturing yourself and things like that. But at the same time, you should not misunderstand me when I say don't diet, because people have extreme understanding of it. Diet means pura healthy khana hai, nahi diet karenge to pura junk khana hai. No, guys, it's not that. Okay. So you would have to identify that part where you understand that you are not really sacrificing is the word, sacrificing a lot of things that you really love to eat. But at the same time, you're eating them in moderation so that your satiety levels are met. At the same time, you're not always going to be feeling that, you know what, I need food, I need food, I need food. It's the middle of the day when you're supposed to submit your report, all you can think about is food. Right? So find that thin line where you can ensure that the diet which you're now having is not restrictive, but at the same time enough for my body to function at ease, well, and not put on extra weight. So of course there are ways of doing that, which we can discuss perhaps in another session. If you guys want, I can curate some information on that as well. Weight loss, tracking the entire art of tracking calories. probably we can do that. But yeah, you would have to at least keep a track of what you're eating and how much you're eating. It's like a bank account, you know, your body is like a bank account. You do know that once your salary hits, you have to pay a whole lot of bills. So you need to constantly keep a check on what all is going out of your bank account, what all is coming into your bank account, how much is left in your bank account, right? So you need to keep, if you're keeping a tab on your finances, trust me, health is wealth. So you need to keep a tab on what is entering your body. Okay. Second thing is healthier than giving up. If you're talking about really doing the extreme or nothing, this is midway. Okay. You don't have to totally give up. You can do the least bit of tracking your calories here and there, taking some of those. You don't have to call any meal as cheat meal, because you can practically eat everything, only if you know when to stop. Yep. Since I gave you this statement, and since I showed you why it could help, how it could help, I would also like to tell you some of those strategies that I have researched about has worked. Again, these have proven research material as well. If you want, I can share the links with you. Some strategies for healthy eating. So let's say we are mostly human beings who have a lot of work to do, a lot of busy schedules, etc., etc. And we do get lazy as well, right? So one of the most important strategies that you can use is to use your laziness to the full extreme, to full optimum utilization of laziness. Number one is put obstacles between you and tempting food. So let's say if you have a packet of Lay's lying around in your kitchen and your room is in the extreme corner of your house and you're working with your door closed and your laptop on your lap and you're working on it, it would be a lot of trouble to pick up your laptop and keep it, get up, open the door, go, and then find the bottle of the jar of chips and then eat it and then come back. So try to use that. Keep those foods away from you. Some people take those food and start working. So then again, you have to make that conscious effort of not doing that. Rather, people will not take water and sit. Most of the times when you feel that you're really hungry, it's actually your body saying that you're thirsty. So you should be drinking a lot of water. So rather than that, keep water with you. So you're really lazy, you don't want to get up, just drink water. Yep. So this is one way. And maybe you should. And one more thing that I've read about is that people don't eat vegetables a lot, especially on a plate where you have a steak or a lot of chicken or a lot of mutton and paneer, and you have a little bit of vegetables on one side. You'll be like, who goes there? Why the hell should I have that when I have this? Yeah, so vegetables will always lose the competition. Vegetables will always lose the competition when it is with meat or noodles or things which are more palatable. Yeah. But let me tell you one competition with which vegetables will never lose. Vegetables against nothing. So when you have only vegetables as your option, then you will not, then you don't have a choice. You will eat it. So by default, what you can do is every meal, first get yourself a bowl of vegetables only. So when you're really hungry, you will eat it up. And then because vegetables are high in fiber and a lot of minerals and vitamins, and they're low on calories, so you will feel fuller, but you actually intook a very less calories. At the same time, you feel half full almost, and you can have some water, and then you can eat whatever food is there. No restriction. You can have your butter chicken, you can have your biryani, you can have your noodles and spaghetti and whatnot. You can have all of that. But yes, you have to make this conscious effort. You will not get a text from Vinita Johnson every day ki pehle vegetables khao. Yeah, neither will Katula hell do that. Right? So that's what you need to keep in mind. Measure your foods effectively without having to compromise on your favorite foods. Measuring does not mean always tracking in your health. Just keep your plate size filled with your little carbs, little fibrous carbs, little simple carbs, protein, and your fats. And you will have enough for your body to absorb. Okay. So I did not want to put in too much about that, because then it would have become a really long webinar. But yeah, I hope those things help, because these things are what will help you measure how your health is going to be 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. These will set a lifestyle for you. To close that thought, I have something that was written by Professor David Levitsky from Cornell University. The body has had millions of years to develop mechanisms to resist starvation. Guys, there have been a huge research on starvation as well. I wanted to include it, but again, bandwidth. But yeah, the body has had millions of years to develop mechanisms to resist starvation. You cannot bypass them simply by going on a diet. Yes. So diets do work. If you have some extreme goals, I will not tell you don't do it, but you must be aware of the consequences that come later, and take the right precautions to be able to bounce back easily. Yep. Does that make sense, guys? I hope I have been able to cover most of it that people think is really the facts, which are actually the myths of dieting. Dieting is not bad, but always choose a sustainable option. Yep. It's almost like marriage. You know, when you do get married to a person, only once you're sure of it, right? I mean, some people are unsure after marriage, but but we date so many people all our lives, our college life, school lives. We have so many people, boyfriends, girlfriends, but you always get married to somebody who you know that will last, who you will have a lasting, happy relationship with, right? So have that happy relationship with your health, with your body, with your mind, and just feel satisfied with normal, general food. When we were young, mummy ke haath ka khana khate the. We used to play sports. We used to win to competitions. All of that was still happening, right? And I am as confident as I sound right now. It is only due to knowledge. I too was victim to all these fads, but because I'm so privileged, and I am so grateful and honored, and I really extend my gratitude to Katula Health to be able, who has asked me and who has given me this opportunity to come and address all of you guys and let you guys know, make this truth available to all of you guys as well. So that's what we do at Hit and Run as well. When I have my members come in, I personally take care of sustainable diet options for them so that they are always there, happily working out every single day to achieve a lifestyle transformation. Yep. And that's what I would hope for all of you guys as well. I hope I have been able to shed some light on that topic. I am open to any questions if you have any. Thank you, Shashi. Pleasure. If you guys have any questions, you can shoot. Any age, Nidhi asks, any age specific diet or workouts? So Nidhi, I'm not sure when you joined during the session, but the whole point of this session was to not have a specific diet. Okay, so the diet which you can really live with, and of course you have to make those proper choices, the healthier choices. irrespective of your age, Nidhi, you will be able, whatever you can sustainably keep as a part of your life, whatever you can stick to is your right diet. Although you can spend some time on understanding and reading about the healthier options, and workouts. Of course, there are a lot of factors that affect the workouts that can be suggested to you, depending upon your fitness levels, depending upon whether you've worked out before in the past as well or not. Otherwise, body weight workouts pretty much work. If you really want to, depends upon your goals again. If you really want to gain some muscle and lose fat effectively in a way that can help you enhance your overall health, there are strength training as well. You can go to the gym, and otherwise you could also take a trial at Hit and Run. Hit and Run is a place where we have people of all ages, all fitness levels doing intensive workouts. And by intensive workout, I mean workouts which is probably something that they can do to their highest potential. So high intensity is an individual's highest intensity. So yeah, but at HIIT and Run is a place where we have workouts, complete body weight workouts, and yeah, I also do take personal training. I am also I have been training in a gym before, but for everyone, again, personal training is something again you will get personal attention to. I'm just not doing this for a promotion bit, but I'm just educating you guys what I do, so that if you need any help, you can always come up to me. I think Priya can share my email ID as well, or you guys can directly get in touch with Katula Health by emailing Priya, and I'll be more than glad to have a look and help you out.
I've actually already shared your link with them. So if anyone wants to join a free trial session, so they can sign up there.
Oh, absolutely. Perfect. Yeah, I see that. Awesome. Perfect. You guys can even get my, I think you guys can also go ahead and follow us, our page on social media. We are called Hit and Run, or you could follow me as well, Vinny.j. That's my ID on Instagram. You can connect with me on Instagram as well, and I'll be more than happy to help. I share a lot of informative stuff on Instagram as much as I can. Some workouts as well, if you want some things for a light workout at home. Yep.
Thanks, Vinita, for such a great session. It was really helpful for everyone, and we are getting so good comments on our chat. So really, thank you so much. And if anyone wants to join for the free trial session, they can visit our link and book us and sign up there. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Priya. Thank you, everybody. I wish you guys all the best in whatever your health endeavors are, and you can always reach out to me, as I said. Yes, Syed, I would also, it was a pleasure as well. Thank you very much for attending the session. And if you guys have any future topics as well, you can reach out to me or Priya, and I would be more than happy to curate information to educate you guys in the most layman terms possible. And yeah, you guys have a good Sunday evening and a brilliant week ahead. See you guys. Thank you very much.